Hi everyone and good day. My name is Shirley Grace Maalam, reporting in New Zealand Policing System. The New Zealand Police is the National Police Service of New Zealand, responsible for enforcing criminal law, enhancing public safety, and maintaining order. Ang pulis ng New Zealand din ay mayroon ding responsibilidad para sa pagpapatupad ng trapiko at komersyal na sasakyan pati na rin ng iba pang mga pangunahing responsibilidad kabilang ng proteksyon ng mga marangal, paglilesensya ng baril at mga usapin ng pambansang seguridad. Policing in New Zealand was introduced in 1840, modeled on similar constabularies that existed in Britain at that time. Ang konstabularyo ay bahagi ng pulisya at bahagi ng milistiya. Sa pagtatapos ng ika-19 na siglo ng pulisya sa pamamagitan ng pahintulot ay ang layunin. The New Zealand Police has generally enjoyed a reputation for mild policing, but there have been cases when the use of force was criticized, such as during the 1981 Springbok Tour. Sa Wellington, ang pulisya na armado ng baton ay nakipag-away sa halos 2,000 na mga nagpoprotesta sa isang marahas na pagtatalo sa Molesworth, Saint sa labas ng parlamento sa pangatlong pagsubok sa Auckland. Sumiklab ang karahasan sa paligid ng Eden Park habang ang isang maliit na eroplano ay lumipad sa ibabaw ng pitch at nahulog ang mga bombang harina. The current Minister of Police is Poto Williams, habang ang pulisya ng New Zealand ay isang kagawaran ng gobyerno na may isang ministro na responsable para dito. Ang komisyonado at mga miyembro ng panunumpa ay susumpa ng katapatan sa soberano at sa pamamagitan ng kumbensyon ay mayroong independenteng konstitusyon mula sa gobyerno ng araw na ito. Ang pulisya ng New Zealand ay pinaghihinalaang mayroong kaunting antas ng katiwalian sa institusyon. Policing in New Zealand started in 1840 with the arrival of 6 constables accompanying Lieutenant Governor Hudson's official landing party to form the colony of New Zealand. Early policing arrangements were along similar lines to the UK and British colonial police forces. In particular, the Royal Irish Constabulary and the New South Wales Police Force. Many of its first officers had seen prior service in either Ireland or Australia. The early force was initially part of police and part militia. Ang batas ng Constabulary noong 1846 ay tumulong sa pagpapanatili ng kapayapaan at pag-iwas sa mga nakawan at iba pang pagkakasundo at pag-aresto sa mga nagkasala laban sa kapayapaan. Ang Armed Constabulary Act 1867 ay nakatuon sa puwersa sa pagharap ng kaguluhan sa pagitan ng katutubong Maori at ng pagpapasok ng mga naninirahan sa Europa, at ang lakas ay lumago hanggang sa 200 na lalaking may sanay sa musket. At dito sa panahon na to, ang Armed Constabulary ay lumahok sa mga aksyon ng militar laban sa mga kalaban na Riwa, Tito Kuwaru, sa Taranaki at Tikoti, sa gitnang North Island sa naghihigalong yugto ng New Zealand Wars. Mula sa pagsisimula ng pwersa ng pulisya noong 1840 hanggang sa susunod na 40 taon, iba-iba ang mga kaayusan sa pulisya sa buong New Zealand. Habang hinati ng pambansang organisadong Armed Constabulary ang mga pagsisikap nito sa pagitan ng regular na pagpapatupad ng batas at suporta ng militia sa mga gyera sa lupa, ang ilang mga lalawigin ay nagnanais ng mga lokal na puwersang pulisya ng kanilang sarili. Humantong ito sa isang magkahiwalay na batas sa puwersa ng pulisya na ipinasa ng parlamento. Gayunpaman, ang mga modelo ng pamulitika ng probinsya ay tumagal ng 2 dekada lamang dahil ang pagkalumbay ng ekonomiya noong 1870 ay nakita ang ilang mga lalawigan na huminto sa pagbabayad sa kanilang pulisya dahil naubusan sila ng pera. Sa paglaon, nagpasya ang gobyerno ng isang sulong organisadong pambansang pulisya ang magiging pinakamahusay na pag-aayos ng pulisya. The New Zealand Police Force was established as a single nation force under the Police Force Act of 1886. The change in name was significant, and provincial policing arrangements were disestablished under staff largely absorbed into the newly created New Zealand Police Force. At the same time, the government took the important step to hive off the militia functions of the old armed constabulary and formed the genesis of today's New Zealand Defence Force, initially called in 1886 the New Zealand Permanent Militia. Makalipas lamang ng isang dekada, ang pagpulis sa New Zealand ay binigyan ng isang makabuluhang pagsasaayos. Noong 1898, nagkaroon ng isang nakabubuti na Royal Commission of Inquiry sa pulis ng New Zealand. Ang Royal Commission na kasama ang reformang komisyonado na si Tonbridge na nagmula sa Metropolitan Police sa London ay gumawa ng isang napakalawak na ulat na naglagay ng batayan para sa positibong reforma ng pulisya ng New Zealand sa susunod na ilang dekada. Ang isang kompletong pagsusuri ng batas ng pulisya noong 1908 ay nakabuo ng malaki mula sa gawain ng Royal Commission. A further Police Force Act in 1947 reflected some changes of a growing New Zealand and a country coming out of World War II. Ang pinakamahalagang pagbabago sa instruktura at pag-ayos para sa pulisya ay dumating pagkatapos ng pag-alis ni Commissioner Compton sa ilalim ng ulap na pamahalaan at pag-aalala ng publiko sa kaniyang pamamahala ng pulisya noong 1955. Ang pagtatalaga ng isang tagapag-alaga ng sibilyan na pinuno ng pulisya, lalo na ang pamagat na Controller General upang makilala ang kanyang background na hindi pagpapatakbo. Binuksan ang mga bintana sa samahan at pinayagan ang isang panahon na positibo at nakabubuo sa pag-unlad na maganap. In 1958, the word force was removed from the name with legislation was significantly revised. On 1 July 1992, the Traffic Safety Service of the Ministry of Transport was merged with the police. Up until the time, the Ministry of Transport and Local Council had been responsible for traffic law enforcement. In 2001, the police re-established a specialist road policing branch known as the Highway Patrol. Today, the police are mainly responsible for enforcing traffic law, while local council can appoint parking wardens who can enforce traffic rules regarding parking and special vehicle lanes. In 2010, after some calls to split traffic enforcement again from standard police duties, it was decided that it would remain part of their duties, partly due to the public having shown enormous support for it remaining this way. Hanggang sa oras na yun, ang Ministrong Transport at mga lokal na konseho ay responsable para sa pagpapatupad ng batas sa trapiko. Noong 2001, muling nagtatag ang pulisya ng isang dalubhasang sangay ng pulisya sa kalsada na kilala bilang Highway Patrol. Ngayon ang pulisya ay pangunahing responsable sa pagpapatupad ng batas sa trapiko, habang ang mga lokal na konseho ay maaaring humirang na mga warden na maaaring magpapatupad ng mga patakaran sa trapiko tungkol sa paradahan at mga espesyal na linya ng mga sasakyan. Noong 2010, pagkatapos ng ilang mga panawagan sa hatiin muli ang pagpapatupad ng trapiko mula sa karaniwang mga tungkulin ng pulisya, napagpasyahan na mananatili itong bahagi ng kanilang mga tungkulin, bahagyang dahil sa pagpapakita ng publiko ng napakalaking suporta para sa pananatili nito sa ganitong paraan. The Police Act 1958 was extensively reviewed starting in 2006. After a 2.5-year consultative process, the Policing Act 2008 came into effect on 1 October 2008. The process included the world's first use of a wiki to allow the public to submit or propose amendments. The wiki was open for less than 2 weeks but drew international attention. kamakailan lamang, ang pulis ng New Zealand ay kasangkot sa mga international na pulisya at pagmisyon ng kapayapaan sa East Timor at Solomon Islands upang tulungan ang mga bansang ito sa pagtaguyod ng batas at kaayusan pagkatapos ng kaguluhan sa sibil. Sangkot din sila sa pagsasanay ng pulisya sa pamayanan ng Bougainville kasabay ng Australian Federal Police. Ang iba pang mga pag-deploy sa ibang bansa para sa tulong sa rehiyon at lunas ay napunta sa Afghanistan bilang bahagi ng pagsisikap na muling maitaguyod ang kaharian ng Tonga, Thailand para sa sakuna ng tsunami at Indonesia pagkatapos ng mga bombang terorista. Nagpapanatili ang pulisya ng New Zealand ng isang internasyonal na network ng suporta sa pulisya sa 8 ng mga dayuhang kapitolyo at mayroong humigit kumulang na 80 kawani na ipinakalat sa magkakaibang mga misyon sa international. There's a police national headquarters that provides policy and planning advice as well as national oversight and management of the organization. Although headed by a commissioner, the New Zealand Police is a decentralized organization divided into 12 districts. Each district has a geographical area of responsibility and a central station from which subsidiary and suburban stations are managed. As of March 2019, there are 327 police stations around the country, with nearly 12,000 staff who respond to more than 600,000 emergency 111 calls each year. The Commissioner is in overall charge of the New Zealand Police. Assisting the Commissioner are 2 chief officers in the rank of Deputy Commissioner. First is the Deputy Commissioner Resource Management and Deputy Commissioner Operations. 5 chief officers in the rank of Assistant Commissioner and the Director of Intelligence report to the Deputy Commissioner Operations. The Assistant Commissioner Investigation or International is responsible for the National Criminal Investigations Group, the Organized and Financial Crime Agency, New Zealand or OFCAN's Financial Crime Group, International Service Group, and Pacific Islands Chief of Police Secretariat. Ang investigasyon at international group ang namumuno sa pag-iwas, pagsiyasat, pagkagambala at pag-uusig ng malubhasa at transnational na krimen. Humahantong din ito sa pagkikipag-ugnay, pag-deploy sa ibang bansa at pagbuo ng kapasidad sa mga kasosyo sa international na pulisya. Ang Assistant Commissioner Operation ay responsable para sa community policing, youth, community center operation group, prosecution, at road policing. Ang natitirang 3 mga komisyonado ng komisyon ay nag-uutos sa mga lugar ng pagpulis sa heograpiya, itaas sa hilaga, hilagang-hilaga at timog. Ang bawat lugar ay nahahati sa 3 hanggang 5 distrito. District commanders hold the rank of superintendent as do sworn national managers. The road policing manager in the Waitemata district responsible for the motorway network and traffic alcohol group, and the commandant of the Royal New Zealand Police College. Area commanders hold the rank of inspector as do chief commanders based in each of the 3 communication centers. District section commanders are typically senior sergeant. The New Zealand Police is a member of Interpol and has close relationship with the Australian Police Forces. At both the state and federal level, several New Zealand police representatives are posted overseas in New Zealand diplomatic missions. It is acknowledged by both police and legislation that important and valuable roles in the performance of the functions of the police are played by public agencies or bodies, for example, local authorities and state sectors. Persons who hold certain statutory offices, for example, Maori wardens, and part of the private sector, especially the private security industry. It is also acknowledged that it is often appropriate or even necessary for police to perform some of its function by working in cooperation with citizens or other agencies or bodies. New Zealand police uniform formerly followed the British model closely, but since the 1970s a number of changes have been implemented. These include the adoption of a medium blue shade in place of dark blue, the abolition of custodian helmets, and the substitution of synthetic leather jacket for silver-buttoned tunics when on ordinary duty. The normal headdress is a peak cap with blue and white stiletto, tartan band, and silver badge. Baseball cap and a cobra with wide-brimmed hats are authorized for particular duties or climatic condition. Stab-resistant and highly visibility vests are normally worn on duty. The body vests are also marked with stiletto tartan markings. AOS and STG members, when deployed, wear the usual charcoal-colored clothing used by armed response and counter-terror units around the world. In 2008, a survey found strong staff support for the reintroduction of the white custodian helmets worn until 1995 to reinforce the police's professional image. New Zealand police officers do not routinely carry firearms on their persons. Officers only carry OC spray or pepper spray, batons, and tasers. The Diplomatic Protection Squad, dog section units, and airport officers are the only officers who routinely carry firearms. The majority of New Zealand police officers are trained in the use of Glock 17 pistol and Bushmaster XM15 M4A3 patrolman, AR-15 type military style and semi-automatic rifle, and wear a holster attachment for the pistol to enable carriage of the firearm if necessary. Since 2012, frontline vehicles have had a lock box in the passenger footwheel containing two loaded and holstered Glock 17s, and in the rear of the vehicle there are two Bushmaster rifles in a secured case together with ballistic vest. Officers are required to advise their supervisor or communication if a firearm is to be retrieved from their vehicle and carried. The vehicles are fitted with glass brake car alarms. Each officer in the vehicle carries a set of vehicle keys and a set of safe keys. The Police Association has stated carrying of handgun is inevitable. The Police Association has stated carrying of handguns is inevitable. In January 2013, a Waikato officer was attacked by at least 5 men after he deployed his OC spray and taser. His radio was taken from him and his pistol was misplaced during the attack. The Police Association requests for routine carrying of firearm for all officers after this incident was dismissed by the police commissioner. The current firearm training and issuing policy has been criticized. Not all police officers receive regular firearm training, nor their vehicle contain a secured firearm. In October 2015, an unarmed officer at a routine police checkpoint at LEA2 South who pursued a vehicle that sped off from the checkpoint were shot at from the offender vehicle. In December 2015, the Police Association referring to the incident requested that all frontline officers receive firearm training and that their vehicle contain a secured firearm. This was rejected. In July 15, the police commissioner announced that taser would be routinely carried by police officers. Taser were first trialed in 2006 and in 2010 were rolled out throughout the New Zealand with all frontline vehicle containing a secured taser in a lock box, providing ready access for officers if needed to a taser model X26 or X2. In 2012, figures showed that a disproportionate number of people targeted by police taser were mental health patients. Police officers receive regular police integrated tactical training or PITT with level of responder training provided varying depending upon an officer role and responsibilities. In 2017, a new responder model was introduced, replacing the former three-tier model. Consequently, the number of officers trained as Level 1 responders with a pistol, rifle, and taser increased to 79%, which incorporate training and defensive tactics, handcuff, OC spray, and baton. In 2019, the Level 1 responder live fire training and simultaneous training was increased by 50%. The New Zealand Police annually released a report of their use of force, including OC spray, taser, and firearms. All officers wear the Body Armor System, or BAS, introduced in 2019, which is a stab-resistant vest that has pouches to carry their equipment and which can be fitted with ballistic hard armor plates. The BAS replaced the stab-resistant body armor, or SRBA, introduced in 2006, and the ballistic hard armor plate, or HAP, which could be worn over the SRBA. And that's all for my report, and hope you listen well. My name is Shirley Grace Maalam, your reporter for today. Thank you and God bless. Have a nice day.